The council is baffled by how a humble and poor farmer succeeded in taming a dragon, a feat deemed impossible as kings and the most powerful archmages have failed for centuries. You want to hear my story? The two knights stared at me. Not with an expectancy, but a look of obviously that's why they were here. Well, it began many a moon ago, just over yonder. It was a strangely warm autumn afternoon. The golden sun illuminated the similarly golden leaves bathing the meadows in a heavenly hue. I scouted the lowlands for any meandering livestock that could be retrieved for farming. Instead, I found an emerald green egg glistening in the light. The golden rays reflecting off of its surface pierced through any shadows cast from above. "Get on with it," one said gruffly. I approached the egg cautiously. It was warm to the touch. Not simply the warmth of a desert rock left in the sun all day, but like a fire burned inside. I had my suspicions on what creature could forge such a fine egg, but I was never certain until little Emerald here popped out. As I mentioned its name, Emerald scurried over from under a cabinet and jumped onto my back. His green scales bounced the sunlight around the room, creating mysterious patterns along the walls. I buckled under its weight slightly. Emerald was growing quickly. Emerald let out a chirp with a small burp of fire before returning to its hidey hole. Anyway, I decided to leave it there. It wasn't my place to interfere in a potentially great creation. I did check back in now and again, however. It was strange, I didn't know much, if anything, about dragons. I always envisioned rich catacombs emblazoned with treasure, and large nests carefully preened for the eggs. This one was neglected somehow. Over the coming weeks, I checked in on it. There was no noticeable change in the area, so as winter rolled in, the egg seemed to grow colder, and I decided to bring it home. Perhaps this wasn't the will of nature, but I couldn't stand idle while such a magnificent creature suffered needlessly. So I brought Emerald's egg home. On cue, Emerald chirped from under the cabinet. I built a small nest for it with what hay I could scrounge up, and as the sun rose on spring, so too did the egg crack. I was genuinely surprised it hatched. I always hoped it would, but I doubted my own capabilities of caring for such a thing. But here we are. And since then I've been feeding it some small fish I catch and other tidbits of meat. I'm not entirely sure what a healthy dragon diet consists of, but Emerald certainly doesn't seem to entertain grains as a good source. The knights in my shanty looked at each other, their armor clanking awkwardly amongst the otherwise silence. Eventually one spoke. "So you tamed it with love and care. You didn't force your will?" I shrugged. I don't know if I would say tamed. Bonded, certainly. Emerald is its own being. I could never truly tell it what to do. We have much to inform Her Majesty of. We may return. With such kind manners you shall always be welcome, I smiled. Emerald emerged from its cubby and tried to imitate a wave goodbye with one of its wings. "I guess it's dinner time for you, Emerald, right?" Emerald chirped and bounced up and down with excitement. It warmed my heart that I could bring such joy to such magnificence.